leather gloves, we're slapping in hands. Popcorn and peanuts, we're working the stands. Pink cotton candy, love on a stick. Was chasing the deer that circle the lips. Play ball, play ball. Roll up the bases and smack it right over the wall.
Play ball.
Play ball.
And we're back. Laughter saves lives live here on Strong Island Television in Paradise Studios, beautiful Massapequa, New York. Hello, Richard.
Hello. And today's show is brought to us by
Barasch
Barasch
and McGarry, lawyers for the 9/11 community. Well, I think we were off for 2 weeks, were we not? Supposed to be 1 week, but then last week.
Busy out there.
Yeah, I went to Florida and
Right.
all
I was
that.
in Texas.
Let's say hello to Patrick McDonald. It's Johnny
There he
Plug
is,
time,
Patrick.
our biggest fan.
Hello, Patrick.
Where were you in Texas? You went to Texas. I went to Florida twice last month.
How was it?
Florida was fun. I don't know if I talked about this on the air yet. Did I?
No.
That I rented a Airbnb.
Yeah.
You call that renting when you do Airbnb? You just say Airbnb. Isn't it? You just say Airbnb. You don't say rented.
I would say I rented an Airbnb.
Okay, so I rented an Airbnb and I
Right.
saw sleeps for, right?
Yeah.
In my head, I went, because I don't read everything. 2 bedrooms. My daughter's in 1 bedroom. I'm in the other. We open the door. It's a studio with a bed and a couch right next to each other.
Yeah.
1 room, no kitchen. We made it work, but I said to my daughter, you know what? How does sleeps for? I go, they alternate sleeping. One couple has to sleep during the day, one has to sleep at night.
Right. Like on a
So-
submarine.
Yeah, that's how it sleeps for. So Johnny stood on, messed up again. But with my daughter, we had so many laughs about it.
Yeah.
At one point I said, hey, I'm in the living room and the bedroom, and I'm standing I'm in the kitchen.
So
Bathroom.
many uncomfortable laughs.
Yes. No, it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We had a good time.
So I went to Texas.
How was that? What?
Fort Worth.
What was
I was laughing because I started that before, but I did everything you did. I was in the rodeo. I don't have video of it like you.
Well, then you can't prove it.
Yeah.
I have proof that I rode the bull. You do not.
Yes.
Right?
But we saw you didn't see the cattle drive and everything down the street.
No desire.
All this. Yeah,
No desire.
it's fun.
It's a phony cattle drive, isn't it? It's like
It goes a
Hollywood.
circle. It goes like
Oh,
they come out. They go around the
They go
buildings.
around.
It's like in Patchogue Village.
And
Is
it's
what it's
like-
like. They're in the back of the stores, then they come around, and then they go back into the pen.
And it's 3
Yeah.
like older cattle that are limping.
Believe it or not, it was only they had the longhorns, right? That were like 8 feet wide.
Right.
But there was only like 15 of them, and it was over. And it was like a big hoopla. Ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah,
coming
sure.
out of there.
Just like they
And,
did in the olden days. Just like they did in the
It was
olden
fun,
days.
yes.
I worked with you. We love
Yeah,
working
we had
together.
fun. We had fun
We have
this weekend.
fun,
Yeah.
And in fact, Patrick is on. Patrick was at the show. He's on the show
Yeah.
tonight. He's going to talk a little bit about it.
Yeah.
Here's what I love working
He's
with you.
probably going to rave about it.
Absolutely. But here's why I love working with you. To see with that act how you squeeze out the laughs, like
Yes.
how you're up there working so hard with that material to get laughs. It is a lesson to us other comics in what to do when you are bombing.
I'm an inspirational comic.
You're an
right?
inspiration.
People look at me and go, if he could do it,
I
could
would
do
say
it.
you're a constipational comic, not an inspirational, a constipation.
That night, can I tell him what I said? It's my favorite line.
It was my favorite line.
Okay.
Because
So-
I come from a background of guys in the fire breaking your chops.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
I went on after John, and I'm not bragging, doing great. I mean, great. One joke, clunker. Like it was flat, no laughs. I go, wow, now I know how John LaRocchia feels. You gotta be there.
It was funny. It was
But what
funny.
a good time. Sandy did a great job. Sandy Ellers.
Yeah, Sandy Ellis closed the show very good. I have a cup in my car, a Yeti type cup.
Mm.
Okay. Now I didn't realize that you have to screw the cap on. A lot of them, you push the cap on the rubber seal, right?
Yeah.
So I fill it with my favorite drink.
Yeah.
With my favorite drink. Are you gonna write a note for me or something?
No.
Okay. So that's a professional way to do it. You write a secret note, and I go, hey, are you
Yeti.
writing a note for me? So I fill it with my favorite drink. Hold on, I gotta read the secret note.
You know what that reminds me of? Do you ever
I can't see that.
Yeti?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what that reminds me of before you go on? You ever see when a comic, I saw this a lot before I did comedy. The MC or whoever's, and he hands it off to, like, ladies and gentlemen, John LaRocca, and you come up, and then they always whisper something.
Right.
And then the other guy starts with the act. I always wonder, I'm doing this 30 years. I've never whispered anything.
I've whispered to you, I think.
What do you
sometimes I'll say, have a good time. Or a great audience, you're going to have a ball.
Yeah.
Usually I say to you, like that. I go something like that.
Another bad set I had.
Yeah. Get off as quick as you can.
Yeah. Listen, they're not. One time you go, they're not going to like you either.
So I get the Yeti, I get the cup, I put my favorite drink in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize it was a screw. So I go to drink and it dribbles.
It popped off?
No, it dribbles because there's now a space, a little bit of space. It dribbles down and I'm like, but 3 minutes later, I forget this. Right. Driving, listening to the radio, pick the cup up 4 times. 4 times. And then I went, thank God I don't have a nice shirt on, like for a show. You know, I wear the nice shirts.
And you get like 4 wears out of your shirts.
4 wears? Only 4? Why only 4? What does that mean?
No,
4?
That's funny.
So anyway, so 4 or 5 times it happened when I finally realized I had to screw the cup on. Yeah. That's me, right?
Yeah.
Just so you know, HIPAA, I am on my medication today. I'm on Vyvanse, so I got a lot done.
Yes.
A lot done. I got up early. What did I do early? I brought the car. I told Richie, I'm not saying this because I want to sound like a nice guy. We're giving nice guy. I said nice guy. I'm giving my father's car to a stranger. It's my sister's friend in Pennsylvania. And it took a while to get it registered, whatever. My father hasn't cleaned the inside of that car in years.
Right.
I can't give somebody, so I'm bringing it to get detail.
Tissues galore in there, I bet.
No, but you know what it's like? The veterans. When you donate stuff to the veterans,
right?
Don't give them the pants you're not wearing anymore because they're worn. They're probably not going to. If you give it to an organization, accept them anyway. Give a new pair of pants.
Right.
Go out and buy. That's why my wife, with Amazon, my wife has a habit of ordering like things twice. With the Amazon guy comes walking up, right? And then he goes back to the truck. Oh, my God, in the back. I go, what's that? She goes,
she ordered more stuff.
She orders something twice. The same thing twice. Like she presses I don't know what she's doing. So depending on what it is, sometimes I'll say, you know what?
Donate new clothing is what you're saying.
If you can afford to do that. And listen, I don't have a whole lot of money, but if my wife is buying an extra thing that's, say, a shirt for the kids or something, and it was $12 or whatever, I ordered 2 of them. Put it in the church thing. I'll bring it to the church.
What about 2 really nice shirts for John LaRocca on his birthday? What about those? Would those go to charity?
Which shirts?
Really nice shirts.
Which shirts are you referring to, Rich?
2 really nice ones.
Here's what I want you to do. You're going to feel good about it. No, here's what I want you to do. You're going to feel good about this. I want you to go to the St. Vincent's de Paul at St. Barnabas Church tomorrow. Just stand outside. Somebody will be wearing a really nice shirt that I donated. Richie bought me 2 shirts for my birthday.
This is what he wears to a show. Look, this is what you dress.
Depends on the show. Tomorrow night I'm going to wear a jacket because we're doing a restaurant.
What about a nice shirt under the jacket?
No, I have bare chest and my shorts on.
Bring one of those shirts.
I don't have them anymore.
What did you do?
I just told you I donate some. You got to feel good. Some person out there who doesn't have a lot of money is wearing your beautiful $6 shirt you bought me because I know you got it on sale at Walmart.
You want to know what's sad about this?
Yeah.
You donated the shirts that I paid for to St. Vincent de Paul, but now somebody is paying more than I paid for those shirts at St. Vincent.
No,
someone's paying more for those shirts. I could have just brought them back.
Because listen, I know how you are. You go there and you look for something that looks really nice,
sad.
Right? It looks really nice.
Yeah,
but it doesn't cost. You're not going to spend $50 on me in a shirt. No, let's be honest.
No,
I would say tops.
They're about 16, 17.
I was going to say 16, 17 total. between
No. I bought nice ones.
No, they're nice. They're very nice, and somebody out there is
That's
very
because
happy.
I had to go to the big and tall in the back.
Somebody
and
big and
get
tall.
to-
I'm not big
I
and
know
tall.
you're not.
I'm not big and tall.
I don't know. You're a large or a medium?
I am a large. I used to be an extra large, but now I'm kind of a large. It depends on the shirt.
Yeah.
I told you the bathroom story, but I didn't tell it on the air. Let me tell that quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Funny story. We're leaving Florida. We're in the airport, and I have to go to the bathroom like I do every 10 minutes. That's why my 23-year-old doesn't like to go with me because I'm always in the bathroom. So the bathroom is here, archway. To the left is women, to the right is men. Little plaque on the outside that I'm not really paying that much attention to.
Yeah.
But as I pick up my head, because the wall is like this when you walk in, it says
You only saw-
woman on the wall, the big wall,
But
in
you
big
only
letters.
saw men.
But you're stealing.
No, I'm just.
The woo disappeared, and all I saw was men because the woo was behind the wall. So I walk in, I sit in the stall, I'm standing up whistling, don't notice there's no urinals, right? And I'm obvious somebody's in the stall next to me, right? As I walk out, a fully in uniform female TSA officer walks out at the stall next to me, and we make eye contact.
Uh-oh.
Now, the first thing I'm thinking is, oh, the bathroom must have been being cleaned, the ladies' room. You know, I don't care. We're both. It doesn't bother me. And she looks at me and she says, very serious, very nasty. You're in the wrong bathroom. Very rude. But in Johnny's head, he knows he's in the right bathroom.
Right.
So I stand, I look at her, and I can't get it on the screen, but leg and all, I actually pick my leg off the floor a little bit, and I go, no, you're in the wrong bathroom. Like trying to be funny, but she's not having it. So now she's even angrier because I'm having a little fun with this. She says, you better leave. I turn around, I see on the wall, woman. And I turn around and look at her and I go, oh, I didn't see that. She goes, yeah, you got to read. Now I go out. My daughter and I are laughing about it. We go to TSA. Who's at the end of the line of TSA checking us like the left?
No.
There she is. And we make eye contact.
Yes.
And I'm waiting for, sir, take your bag, step out of the line, right? I don't hear anything. So I said, all right. But I can't just shut up.
Right.
So as I'm next to her, my daughter's in front of me like this. I look at my daughter and then I look at the lady and I go, hey, there's my friend from the ladies' room. She wanted to kill me.
Woman's
room. Woman's room, ladies' room.
Yeah, go ahead.
So anyway, we got a pack.
So then what happened? She didn't frisk you?
Nothing. Thank God, nothing.
She didn't go up your leg and go,
no.
You were in the wrong bathroom.
That would be a good joke, yeah.
Yeah, it would be.
You sure you weren't?
I'm natural at this.
Well, you're natural. Let's go to a quick break.
Yeah.
And then we're going to come back with our first guest, Houston firefighter, retired, my buddy Butch Hayes. We'll be right back.
I'm sorry to bother you, but I have 30 seconds to give you a very important message. My name is Arthur Lee. I'm the CEO and inventor of LifeVac, a simple choking rescue device that could save a life in a choking emergency. We've saved over 3,000 lives now, but we're not there. 5,000 people a year choke to death, one child every 5 days. Please consider protecting your family in a choking emergency with LifeVac. Go to lifevac.net today. Thank you for your time.
And we're back from Houston, Texas. My buddy, Butch Hayes, firefighter Butch Hayes. He's earned that title.
Hey.
Did you get promoted ever because you were lieutenant or captain?
Well, with Harris County, I'm a sergeant with Harris County Hazmat.
All right, but with the Houston, you never got promoted, right?
No, I took some promotional tests, died on the peg a few times.
I guess you studied with me.
Yeah.
That's probably what happened. Hello, my brother.
Hello.
We go way back. This gentleman visited the FDNY years ago. How many years ago? About, what we say, 20?
Almost. Yeah, it was been over 20.
Over 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And I think I had you at the old radio. Didn't you come to the old radio show?
Yes.
With Tommy Gardner, my buddy. Yep. Always have him here with me. With Tommy Gardner, and we had a ball, came back to the house. But here's what Butch, give him your experience in a nutshell. Tell him your bio, quick. What is your experience?
So my experience, this is my 44th year in the fire service.
44 years.
Wow.
Retired from Houston, failed retirement, was retired for about a week, went to work for Harris County Hazmat. And that was in 2019. Yeah.
They are lucky to have you, my brother.
Thank you.
So I go on the Facebook.
Yeah.
The other day, Mets are in Houston, open up the season with the Astros.
Yep.
Right. And I'm watching after game one, a little frustrating for the Met fans. Nice W for the Houston Astro fans. And I'm watching his recap of the game.
Yes.
I mean, just a beautiful, intelligent. Now, you know, a New York fan would be going, "Oh, we kicked their ass." All right. He's there explaining the at-bats, and the rookie got a hit. And I'm going, "Oh, my God." And to my Yankee fans, they had a good weekend. And so I go, "Man," I messaged him. I go, "Well, let's go Mets," you know. So he says, "Well, if we win the series, you're going to have to do something." You know, so I said, "All right." So confident.
Yeah.
My Soto Mets are going to beat the Astros 2-1. I said, I'll wear a Houston Astros cap on the show.
Right.
And the Houston Astros beat the Mets 2-1.
Yep.
So I owe him a show, full show with the Houston Astros cap. Didn't have time to do it for tonight, but I told you, I promise you.
You did.
I'm going to wear it. I promise you.
And
So now, where did you get this love for baseball? It seems like you just love it.
So I got it from my mother. She was a big sports fan, loved baseball. She loved sports, but she really loved baseball. So
Astro fan?
Well, we were out in Oregon State, so that's where I grew up at. So there, we just kind of liked any team because being out there, you either got to see the Dodgers, the Mariners. Sometimes we'd see the Yankees, Mets, and then, you know, so it wasn't like we just had a home team like we do here in Houston. So I didn't really go to my first major league ball game until I moved to Houston and went there.
Now, I want you to plan in advance because I forgot that Houston was in the American League. You know, I grew up, Houston was in the National League.
Right.
So I said, man, when Butch has got to come to New York, or next season, I'm going to Houston. So obviously next season, they're playing in New York.
Yeah.
If you want to plan that way in advance, I will buy the tickets for the game, and I'm not buying cheap tickets.
Okay.
I will buy the tickets to the game if you come to New York.
I'll come.
Yeah.
Do it.
Bring the wife. I will buy her ticket too.
Okay.
All right.
To the game.
To the game, not the play ticket. Thank you. Not the play ticket. I got it on tape. You said you'll buy her ticket. But I would love, you know, we'll build a little 3 days around it. You know, maybe we'll go to the games and sounds good.
Sounds great.
All right. So your prediction for the Mets and the Astros, give it to me.
Whew, my prediction for the Mets and Astros, man, I think it's going to be it'll be a good series once we meet again. But
you know, I don't mean if we meet again. I mean for the season.
For the season, since the Astros are kind of in a rebuilding stage, I think we'll make it to the postseason.
Okay.
But with y'all having Soto and some good players, I see y'all going all the way, I think.
You think?
Yep.
We're starting off slow.
I know, but y'all are gaining a little momentum. So
I think they did win in extra innings tonight. I didn't see the final pitch, but I'm hoping.
So it would be good to see Houston and the Mets play in the World Series.
And if Richie doesn't know, Houston and the Mets came into the major league the same season, 1962. There were two expansion teams.
Yeah, so we were the Colt 45s when we came into the season.
That's right.
In 65, when they moved into the Astrodome, they changed the name to the Astros.
Right.
So, yeah. I thought y'all were going to do it last year. I was, go Mets and Yankees in the World Series, but LA just had to pull it off.
Yeah, we came close.
Yeah.
We both lost to the Dodgers last year. With the new fire department you with now, what's the name of it?
Harris County Fire Marshal's Office.
Bunch of good guys, I'm sure.
Yep.
And can you give us your latest heroic act by the department? It doesn't have to be you.
So
shout
probably
out.
the last one they had was a sulfur dioxide tank truck leak, lost complete contents, and it was a multi-agency response with our hazmat team, the Woodlands Fire Department hazmat team, the Conroe hazmat team out in San Jacinto County.
Level A job.
Yep.
You got to wear those suits, fully encapsulated suits.
Yeah.
So you can only hang out in there a half hour, 35 minutes.
Yeah.
A lot of rotation. Tough job.
Yes, it is.
You guys have to know every chemical, or
Well, I
you
can look
learn
stuff
as you
up.
go.
Look at me. Do you think I know every chemical? I know 3. The rest of them I look up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Sulfur dioxide I know is nasty.
What is sulfur dioxide even for?
What do they use it for, Butch?
Say that again.
What do they use sulfur dioxide for? Where is it used?
Man, it's used in a lot of different things. And some of it's in some refrigeration parts. Some of it's used to make other chemicals.
Oh,
Yeah,
see, you learn something new on this show.
Roughly, what is the ideal age for that? How many parts per million?
And I can't I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, I don't either, but I'm going to estimate it's probably around 100, 200.
Yeah, it's not much.
And to combine it to carbon monoxide, which is, right, it's like 1,500. So that's how toxic. So these guys are walking around in this environment with suits on that if they didn't have those suits and masks on, they wouldn't be here. That's the heroes we have out there in the hazmat world, right? And I only say that because it's a roundabout way of saying that maybe I was here because I was in hazmat. You're never going to call me that.
You were.
I went around in a circle there. Butch did that. Why, John, didn't you do the hazmat? And I went, oh, I guess so too. Yeah. All right, my friend. Next year, let's look at the schedule when it comes out. Let's do this. We'll try to get Richie to go to the game.
I'll go.
Yeah.
We'll get some of the brothers to go. Some of the commies will be a good time. Little tailgate.
It'd be a great time.
That sounds
all right. Listen, thanks for taking the time, my friend.
Great meeting you. Thank you for what you do.
Yes. Be safe. Be safe. Be safe.
All right.
You're a hero already. Be safe. Okay. I've been for a long, long time. Wow. Good man. Good man. All right, we're going to go to a quick break, and then I'm going to bring out Patrick Smith, retired police officer Patrick Smith.
Whoa.
Do we have Chris in there yet? Oh, you can hear me.
Yeah, we're on with Barasch and McGarry.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, Barasch and McGarry. Again, sponsors, lawyers for the 9/11 community, our main sponsor for the show. Thank you, Barasch and McGarry, doing great work out there for firefighters, police officers representing them. Thank you again, Barasch and McGarry. And we're back. All right. I don't see our final guest in there, right?
No, there's 3.
There's 3. There we go.
That's 2.
There's 3.
All right, let's bring it. Right, you got Tom, you got Pat, and I'm looking for Chris. We don't have Chris, right? No. All right. If you could look at that email and call him. All right, let's bring out Pat. Pat is here. If we have to see.
Hey, Pat.
All right. Hey, Pat, what's doing, my brother?
Nothing much.
We met at the show the other night in Jersey, and you were trying to leave when Richie was in the middle of his set. Like, I can't take any more of this. I talked to you, and then you told me you were a deacon. I asked you he needed a blessing. Why don't you hang out? This is the act that he goes up with every night, and you were kind enough to stay. So, thank you for hanging out the other night.
So much.
I had a great time. I don't get out very often.
Wasn't that fun? We had a good time.
It was a fun show. Good.
And the food was excellent. Yeah, it was
good. I was starving, so it was great.
Yeah, the food was good.
Was that why?
Well, I don't know if that's the reason. That was the reason, but it was good.
I used to say at the firehouse, if you want them to like the food, cook late. If you're not a good cook, cook late.
That's it.
That's hysterical.
So yeah, you enjoy the food.
Yeah.
Because Richie, I didn't pay him yet. I'm going to pay him tonight. And when I give him the check, I always say, but the food was good.
Right.
But the food was good.
I said, is this a good gig? And he goes, the food is good. And that's what gets me to Jersey.
How much? How much? I go, I'll pay the tolls. Don't worry. So we had a good time. So your background is interesting. And tell me if I missed anything, because I didn't print it out, because I think I'm this smart that I can remember. You were a police officer. Where were you a police officer?
In Jamesburg, in Middlesex County, in New Jersey.
You were a volley firefighter when? At the same time as you were a police officer? Before or
No,
after?
I was a volunteer when I was young, when I was 16 till I was 26.
Okay.
But once in New Jersey, once you're a cop, they make you lead the volunteers in some towns because they don't want you
all right.
hurt. Yeah.
All right. So firefighter, police officer. Then the job you have now, you are an armed security guard in the school.
Yeah, yeah.
You wrote it that way. I didn't want to put it on the flyer, armed security guard, but I find that very interesting because there's been so many conversations over the last number of years when the school shooting started about, who's going to be armed. You want to arm the teachers, you want to arm security guards. How are we going to, and you were the first armed security guard in the school that I've met. I don't know if the security guards in the high school over here in the elementary school are armed. I didn't ask them the few times that I was there. But you're also a deacon, which I think being around cops and firemen, you really need a deacon,
Yeah, they used to call me Padre.
Padre, that's what I call the priest the church. Padre. Hey, Padre. Yeah. So I would like to start with the school armed security guard, okay? How do you feel about an armed security guard in the school? What is your feelings? Because you're on the law enforcement side.
Yeah, well, let's say, it's sad that we're in this situation, but we are. And the idea of making sure that you take these things that are soft targets, or they call them soft targets,
sure,
and you harden them, and basically you make it so people can't get in. You close the environment. The only people can come in are people that have business there. And you basically are there to befriend the children. You don't discipline them. You're just kind of there to be their friend, so they know they can come to you. Right. And the only people that have to fear you is somebody that tries to get in the building. If they try and get in the building and they're going to do harm, they're probably not going to get out.
Are you the only armed security guard in the school?
No, there's multiple.
Multiple.
Yeah.
It's funny you mention this because I just passed a grade school today.
Right.
And well, the parking lot exits or entrances, whatever, they were gated and there was red cones in front. I'm like, wow, anybody that's going in and out of there, it's going to look peculiar to somebody right away. Is that so? That's intentional, or is that what all schools are doing? Or
it varies between every district, and our districts, they actually started right after the tragedy in Columbine.
Right.
They started putting officers in the school. So that's way back, and they built it ever more since then, heading in the direction of having probably a full gamut of security people all the time. But of course, it's a school system, so it's limited in the amount of money they have. So, but it's a really good system. It's well done. It's professional. We basically don't, we're not tough guys, but we don't play games. You only get it for reasons, and that's it.
Yeah, I could imagine, ever since unfortunately the tragedies, that you would have guys come on and go, oh, let's see if anybody's going to even try to, right? Because it's
pray you never have to do anything. Job. It's just like being a cop. You pray you never have to do anything, but you be prepared all the time.
Right. What has been in the last couple of years the most ingenious thing that you've seen come across in the schools? I'm hearing backpacks, protection and shields and door locks. And anything that you find clever that they came up with, or
to protect?
Well, I've seen some tech, but a lot of it's impractical. But I think the old time security systems of where you watch, you get to know your environment, and you get to know the people that you're dealing with, and you immediately notice when somebody doesn't belong there.
Right.
Right. And it's a matter of the way they act and what they do. I mean, East Brunswick it's like the United Nations. There's so many people that are there, and it's no particular anybody you can pick out. It's just that, it's either a mom or a dad or mom and a mom or whatever it may be, and they come in and they do their daily thing. And anybody that's not in that position, you notice them and you say, all right, what's this person up to?
Right.
and they really only use law enforcement at least in our community, retired police officers,
Right.
or in law enforcement of some way.
Excuse me.
That's probably the best thing I've seen.
Yeah. On a side note, I believe that sitting at that emergency exit on planes should only be jobs that have been under stress in an emergency. We've all never been in a plane crash, but we've all been under stress. Firefighter, cops, veterans. Why not have them sit in the emergency exits? Because I see it, the flight attendants walking down. Is that what they call them now? Flight attendants, right? Yeah. Not insulting anybody. Flight attendants walking down, and they'll say, "Hey, do you understand? You're in these seats," And you look at some of the people, and you're like, "Is that who I want sitting there?" And if there's an emergency, if they're even understanding what he's saying,
I've thought that myself, but I don't fly anymore.
Yeah. So you gotta have some kind of indication in the computer. So when you check in, it gives the little X on the ticket. I'll put this guy by the emergency.
Well, actually, I saw a thing the other on YouTube, but that airplane ticket tells you everything about who you are. It's all in code,
right?
So I wouldn't be surprised if they're already doing that.
I don't think they are, Richie.
Really?
I don't think they're doing that. No, I don't think
they know who's in every seat on that plane.
How many
volunteer for leg room?
How many children are in the school that you work in?
I'm really not allowed to say.
Oh no, okay.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Big school district though.
Yeah, the district itself has I think over 6,000. So
wow, it's a big school.
All right, so you've been around the block, so to speak, and it's a big responsibility, and I'm sure you take it very seriously, just like when you were a police officer. So they're lucky to have somebody like you with that experience. They really are. All of these schools. We feel a lot safer with our kids and our grandkids when there are people like you who work in the front door there,
I appreciate that.
They know who I am, and they don't let me in.
Yeah, we're the same way. You really have to have a reason. You got to be a reason to be there.
Are you back again? I had to read to the class a few months ago, and that was so fun. Watching these kids and me being silly up there. My grandson, so excited because he doesn't know I'm coming that day.
Right. We call them mystery readers.
Yeah. I was a mystery reader.
I once applied for the job that you do, and they said, "You're really not the material we're looking for." Right?
That's been every job. That's been every job I applied. You're really not what we're looking for.
A little stronger,
Your police officer days. Can you give us a story? A little,
What was one of your fun moments? What happened?
A fun story on a call or something.
We had it was myself and another guy. We're about to sit. I'm actually a little older than him, but we started working around the same time, and we used to go out from time to time. We were both big guys.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a big guy, but I was an even bigger guy. I was like, it was about 20 plates of pasta a day guy. So we were out driving around, and we had this little low bridge in town. It's 12 foot, and it's always getting hit by tractor trailers. Always. Right. And pretty much every single driver with the tractor trailer we used to say they're not from New Jersey. Let's just say they're from somewhere else, whatever it may be. But we also get a lot of professional drivers that come through and they just stop in the middle of town because they know they can't go into this bridge. The town's really tight and small. So there's like a railroad track here and a county road here, a gas station, a bum, a bar. I mean, there's stuff all in this one area. And he pulls over, he parks, blocks everything. We pull up the two guys, and we just got done watching the movie Super Troopers. You know that movie. You've seen it, right?
Which movie?
Super Troopers.
You see it?
No.
Write it down. We're gonna have to watch it.
Super Troopers. It's a bunch of characters are supposed to be like the Vermont State Police or something.
Okay.
It's ridiculously funny, especially when you're tired.
Right.
So they had this act that they did in there on the road where they do a thing called a repeat and a meow. And when they talk to people, they would either repeat it or they would say meow between the words, because that's all they did was they just did crazy stuff. They didn't really work. That's the whole premise of the movie. They didn't.
Oh, that's funny.
So we're out to get this truck. Guy gets out of his truck, and he's a big, thick, burly dude. I mean, he's got the welding cap on backwards. He's got the big beard, and he's definitely from Alabama or Mississippi, something like that. Really great guy. He comes on, "Hey, officers, how you doing?" We look at each other and go, we didn't even say a word to each other. We knew each other that well. I look at him, he looks at me, just a little nod, and he goes, "Hey, how you doing, officers? I'm a little lost. I'm trying to get myself back to this I-95. We're like, "No problem." And I immediately go, "No problem." So this is the repeat. So the other officer goes, "Hey," he goes, "I see this bridge is over here, is real low over here." The other officer says, he goes, "Yep, 12 feet, big fine." I said, "Big fine going over that bridge because it's real low." So we keep going back and forth and just keep going. We must have did it 10, 15 times. And the guy says, he says, "I'll tell you, I appreciate you fellers. Let me know about that bridge. And what kind of fine is it?" And my buddy goes, "It's about $1,500. I go, $1,500. And the guy looks at me. And just for a moment, I thought maybe he was going to say something. And he didn't say a darn word. He said, "Well, thank you much, sir." And he got back in his truck and drove away. And these are the things that we would do when you had nothing going on. Because it's a small town. Like in the cities, the cops are going call to call to call to call. In a little town, it's like nothing. And then it's call, then nothing.
Right.
So we got another one. It was the meow, the other one. This is within a week of it. It's stuck in our heads for maybe about 2 weeks. Well, and I'm out working, and remember the Nextels?
Yeah.
Nextel phone, you could talk like a walkie.
Yeah.
They were big for probably about 5 years till the iPhone came out. So we got these Nextels, and I got another guy on the side of the road, and same thing, truck driver, nicest guy ever. And I start talking to him, and I start meowing. I said, "Hey, you realize you're not supposed to be on this road, meow." And I wanted to see if I could get away with it, how long I could get away with it.
Right.
I got away with it for two times, like 2 words, and he didn't say a word to me. I said, "All right, so I'm going to do this again." So I click the Nextel, and it goes into the building, and everybody else can hear it. And it's not the work radio, so it's safe. It's just like a phone.
Right.
No,
I'm not interfering with any emergency calls or nothing. So I'm talking to him, and I said, "So on and so forth, this road here, let me see your license registration, meow, 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 meow." And I said it about 16 times. Because I had to, I was actually counting them in my head how many times I could get away with it. Because that's what they did in this movie. They were competing.
Right.
So you get done with it, and all I can hear is like the other Nextels coming up and them laughing, and them not believing that. And then as I told the story, no one believed it. I said, I'm telling you, got it. And then there's somebody inside recorded it. So it was like, this is just the stupid crap that you do.
I know.
When you're trying to get in between whatever tragedy you went to the next tragedy, you come up with these dumb things to do, but you're involved in it.
Whatever gets you through the day.
Yes.
And that is hysterical.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. We got a tight show. I'm sorry, Pat.
That's no problem.
Thank you for coming on. Thank you for what you do.
Yes.
The communities are lucky to have people like you out there protecting our kids. And it was a pleasure meeting you at the show. I'm glad you had a good time.
Yeah.
Sure. If you want me back, I'll come back. I'll tell you about my future.
We'd love it.
We'd love it. You'll be back. Retired police officer Patrick Smith, armed security guard in the school he is now.
Yep.
We're going to bring right in without a break our next guest, Chris Meek. Chris Meek is founder of the 9/11 Legacy Foundation and Soldier Strong. Founder, did I say that right, Chris?
Meow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Now you should say good night, everybody. Good
Mic
night.
drop, I'm out. Yeah, actually, what I should say, John, is I'm really not what you're looking for.
That was perfect. So, pleasure meeting you. I was introduced to you by a mutual friend. And hopefully we're going to do some great work together, the Laughter Saves Lives Foundation. Tell us a little bit about this 9/11 Legacy Foundation.
Yeah, sure. So first of all, thanks for having me on. Pleasure being here. And, John, I know the work that you've done. And, I was at Ground Zero on 9/11 and, saw everything come down that day a little bit differently than you and your colleagues did. Right. And one of my most lasting impressions from that day is as those of us civilians were running away from the towers, the first responders were rushing in. And all I could think about was that I had to do something to give back at some point. But obviously at that time, I didn't know how or what it would be. And so have done some work over the last 15 or so years, helping veterans and active duty military. But really the impetus for this was the 20th anniversary of 9/11 came and went, and nothing really happened. And I understand it was the heart of COVID. There was controversy, a political controversy between Trump and Biden, who should or shouldn't be there. And I was very disappointed. This is something that's impacted this country. It's the biggest thing here since D-Day and the attack on Pearl Harbor. And so I thought, okay, well, what can we do for the 25th anniversary, knowing that for folks of our generation, that's probably going to be like the last major milestone, with the 50th being the next, that we're going to be around for. And so I've got a separate project in terms of a documentary, in terms of the heroism and resiliency from that day. But then I thought, okay, well, what if we could do something that elevated and escalated all the events that are happening for the 3 specific attack sites, but also make it a national event, and really ride the coattails that next year happens to also be the 250th birthday of the United States of America.
Oh, wow.
So on July 4th, knowing who's in the current administration, I can only imagine what the fireworks are going to be in the mall that night in Washington, D.C. And so once those fireworks are over, we want to start spreading the word in terms of the events leading up to the 25th anniversary of 9/11 over that next 9 weeks. And so that was really the impetus or the idea behind it. I've been very blessed to have some very, very prominent folks who've served our country. Andy Card, who was chief of staff to President Bush on 9/11. Secretary Leon Panetta, who was head of CIA when we got Osama bin Laden, the Secretary of Defense. FDNY Battalion Chief Chris Cansey. Lieutenant General Mark Sassfield, who was one of the first 2 fighter jets deployed when the towers were hit, and he had no weapons in his plane. His job was to literally hit the nose of the plane, the next commercial jet, to take it down.
That's right. I think I saw a special. It was, but what is your background? Do you have military first responder? What is your background?
No, sir. That's one of life's regrets. I wish I'd served in some capacity, whether it was as a first responder or.
You are serving now. You're bringing this to light. You're going to shine a spotlight on these heroes that you are serving, my friend.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you. And that's really been, you mentioned Soldier Strong, my first nonprofit, helping. At the time, it was deployed soldiers and Marines in Afghanistan and Iraq, and now it's helping injured veterans from various injuries, whether it be physical or invisible wounds of war. And so my background is really just, I'm a finance guy. I was on Wall Street. I was across the street from the Trade Center. But I'm an only child from a single mom, and my mother's phrase was always, "We might not be able to help the world today, but we can help the world around us."
Wow.
And so that's the mantra I'm carrying forward. That's what I'm trying to teach my children. And so that's why I'm doing the work I'm doing.
I love it. We're actually going, we've been asked to go back since pre-COVID, go back and do a show at St. Albans Veterans Hospital in Queens. And that's a place that's so out of the way. Nobody is visiting these vets unless you're family. And a lot of them have no family, or family that's on the other side of the country.
Yeah.
So to go in and make them laugh, and it's very moving being around these people, because my dad's a veteran. My dad's 90, 91, 92.
God bless.
And to leave your family for that long a time when you're deployed in the military, that's hard enough. Now you're going to war or to fight somebody with, that you don't. I mean, these guys all should never want for anything the rest of their lives.
100%, actually 1,000,000%. And then that's why Soldier Strong does what it does. We provide medical devices to the VA, which has a north of $300 billion budget. It takes a small nonprofit based in Stamford, Connecticut, raising money, 100 grand at a clip, to give devices to that $300 billion a year entity to give those veterans exactly what they need and deserve. We give our war fighters, when they're on the battlefield, the absolute best technology that is possible and available to them. But when they come home and they transition from being a war fighter to a veteran, there's a massive Death Valley gap that our government is not providing for.
Right.
My organization, Soldier Strong, is stepping in and filling that gap, because to your point, they deserve every single thing.
Absolutely.
Because they've earned it, because they're going to put their life on the line for you, me, my children, your grandchildren, and everybody, and not knowing who to take that shot at them.
And they don't ask for it. That's the thing. My dad never went to the VA until a few years ago. I dragged him there. never got anything from the VA. And that's partially my fault, but he had his doctors, he had, and he just never asked. They don't ask.
They don't ask. And he was a different generation. He was part of the greatest generation. And so thank you and your family and him for his service. You look at the Vietnam era, which had Rotten Tomatoes thrown at them when they came back. And now, thankfully, our country and our society has learned from those mishaps, for lack of a better word, that we now honor and respect those who wear the uniform because of what happened from 9/11. And unfortunately, it took a terrorist attack at 3 specific sites in our country for that to happen. And what's more unfortunate, and that's a loose definition of the word, but for those of us, I'm sorry, for those people who don't live in the Northeast corridor of the United States, 9/11 was just a news event for them. You and I lived it firsthand. You specifically lived it firsthand for days, weeks, months, and years.
I always say, Chris, I went to California. I performed at the Improv in the middle of LA. And it was maybe a year after 9/11. Took the family. Somebody gave us a free condo out in San Clemente. And I went up and I was going to do a set. And I was always introduced pre-9/11 as a New York City firefighter. So after 9/11, it became uncomfortable because around here, you'd get a standing ovation. And I didn't do anything yet on stage, And I felt very, very uncomfortable with it. So I used to say, after the standing ovation, thank you very much. I'll accept that for my guys who cannot. Thank you. And I would go on. I went out to LA. Ladies and gentlemen, the next act, a New York City firefighter. Nothing. Nothing. And not that I cared for me, but I was so taken back that nothing, So maybe it was just because it was me. I know what you're going to say. It was because it was me, but
it's not me, it's you.
Yeah,
but to that point, John,
you were involved with Soldiers Strong. Give us a quick recap of that one.
Yeah, quick recap. We were formed. So a good friend and mentor of mine, retired Marine. He had given me a letter that he'd received from a Marine deployed in Afghanistan in 2007 or 8, basically saying we're not living on bases, we're in Jeeps and foxholes. Can you please send tube socks because we hike all day and we throw the old ones away, and baby wipes for personal hygiene. That's how they take a shower. Right. So we started doing care packages. Long story short, we shipped 75,000 pounds of supplies to 73 units. When the troops came home in 2012, or started to come home, we transitioned into scholarships to help supplement the post-out GI Bill. And now, more specifically, we fund medical devices to help both the visible and invisible wounds of war. Our 2 major signature programs. One's an exoskeleton device, which is a wearable robot, which enables a paralyzed veteran to stand and walk again.
Nice.
I'm 6'3". I take that for granted. But you hear things like I'm the tallest 5'7" giant in the room. I'm no longer staring at somebody's belt buckle. I'm not a 6-year-old. And so that's program 1. And program 2 is called Brave Mind, which is virtual reality technology, which helps post-9/11 veterans suffering from PTSD. So it takes them back and removes that stigma that they see or that they're encountering in terms of like going to talk to a regular therapist or clinician and go through sort of like a gaming environment for them.
That's
Love it.
Wonderful.
Love it. Well, listen, we're running a little behind tonight, so
I know, sir.
But I think we got a lot of good information in there.
Yeah.
We can definitely have you back, and I'm definitely going to be in touch to see how we can work with you. Laughter Saves Lives.
Likewise. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
All right,
Thanks for all the work that you do. God bless.
Wow. That's people like that out there doing great work, and I keep saying to you, we need to shine a spotlight on more of these. There's so much negative crap going on.
And he goes, I was just a Wall Street guy, Chris. But look at him. Unbelievable.
Look at him.
It just goes to show you that everybody at home could get out and do something.
Little something. And that's why I love doing what we're doing here, to try to get involved with these organizations. For me, it's very therapeutic. Very therapeutic.
That's why I started this whole Laughter Saves Lives live show.
We appreciate that.
I have you on as my co-host.
Our next guest is, other than Richie, because he's sitting next to me, my favorite comic. He's done many Laughter Saves Live shows, raising money with us for different charities. Please, a nice warm welcome to the Laughter Saves Live very underpaid, Tom Gregorio.
Oh, there he is.
Very underpaid. You had to start with
famous.
We don't pay you enough.
Famous.
Right? We don't pay you enough.
Listen, does anybody get paid enough?
None of us do, right? We do it because we love it, right?
Right.
Right. We do it because we love it. That's what all underpaid people say.
When John calls me to do a show, I always go, you do it because you love it. You do it because you love it. Right? You take
it. Keep saying that over and over again. And while you're crying, you're saying that. And then you eventually, get yourself straightened out.
Tom hangs up the phone. Why? Why?
Every time I'm out, they keep trying.
They pull me back in. Every time I think I'm out.
You are one of my favorite comics. You know that.
Mine
I love
too.
watching you on stage and working your magic. Even if it's the same bit you did last time, I know it's coming, and I start laughing.
Every bit of his, and then we're going to let you talk. But the jokes are reinvented every time I see it. I'm like, is this new? I heard this, but it's new.
Funny stuff, Tommy.
It's because I can't remember how I said it last time. Like, you think it's a compliment, but it's just me going like, what the fuck was this about again? Ooh.
Oh, shoot.
But we'll bleep that.
We'll bleep.
But you are like.
Yeah, but when we bleep here, we have to cut out like 10 minutes.
Oh, my God.
That's an antiquated system. So you were never on the show tonight.
When he does a joke, as long as you know the beginning, middle, and end, he'll run with it, right?
Oh, yeah. I appreciate you guys. The guys were really good, man. Chris was really good. And
Are they great?
You got great guests tonight, man. Chris and Pat, they were really good. It's just they do so much. When it was interesting that Chris was saying that he never got to serve. And like you were nice enough to point out, John, he's serving right now. What he's doing now, it's so important. Anything that we can do to help someone, our neighbor, our friend, whatever it is, it's important.
I guarantee you, Tommy, if you added up the hours, that man's spending a lot of hours on this. He's
I'm
not
sure he has,
he's not
man.
spending an hour a week,
Yeah, he's spending a lot of time, and it's his retirement, so I got a kudos to all the guys that came on, was it Pat that was talking about being a guard? Yeah. Right, Pat. And,
Tom, I think you do heroic things. I see you every day, no joke, giving your commentaries, and I'm like, holy cow. You don't sugarcoat anything. You get right to the point. And,
it hurts your feelings. It hurts your feelings, though, when he speaks about working with you.
Yeah.
You don't want to.
I appreciate
for him when he works for me.
Dude, I appreciate you saying that, Rich. And it's a thing where, like, I don't speak about that type of stuff. I'm not saying that it's literally satire, because it is what I feel. And it is my satire about that topic, right? But I also feel that we could just coexist as people. And I don't like talking about that kind of shit in my act. And you know that, John. Like, I don't ever say that. I don't ever talk social issues in my act.
Politics.
No, it's just
you
very
have
upsetting.
Courage to say what you want to say, and whereas so many people are just afraid to say anything.
I appreciate that, Rich. That's kind of you.
That you feel. What do you think about yourself to where you're like, I'm saying it. I don't care. No one's going to stop me. It's a free country, right?
Well, that's what it should be. Should be able to speak, but it's not like that anymore. People take it too hard. You've lost too many friends, too much stress. I don't know about you, but I get stressed. I don't need it. I go like this. I don't want to watch the news.
He doesn't back down.
I know that.
No, I appreciate that, Rich. You know what my theory is? My theory is that the old telephone that we used to hang up and let all of our anger out, I think that's where we're missing in society. We should all have one in our kitchen, because we need to, you know what I mean? And you heard the bell ring inside. Now we just go, that's how we hang up. We touch a phone. It's really lame. We don't let any anger out. With the old phone,
you hurt your finger. But the old receiver, you're right. You could just smack that thing right into the holster.
You could just let it all out.
And if you break it, the phone company just gives you a new one.
Yes, but Rich, I appreciate you bringing that up. I appreciate you mentioning that, and it's a kind of thing where I toiled with that myself. Like they say, a conversation for another time. But there have been things that I toiled about whether or not I would speak my own truth, and whether or not I should or shouldn't. You know, there's a lot of times like that where we doubt ourselves or we doubt what we should say or shouldn't. And but I really, man, as a friend, I appreciate you bringing that up.
Let me ask one more question.
Go.
So I'm sure you and I lose a lot of friends, right? Or used to be a friends. But don't you feel that what you say is more important than that friendship?
I do. Ultimately, I feel like if someone cares about you, like we care about each other, you know, the three of us, and your family, your friends, if you care about each other, you'll respect each other's boundaries, and then you wouldn't have to have that moment where you could potentially lose a friend over something. I don't believe in that. But I also believe in being respectful to.
Yes, and so do I. And I avoid it a lot because I don't know how somebody's going to react. I know how I'll react. I'm a listener. I will listen. I will try to learn. And if I disagree with somebody, I can do that respectfully. But there is too many people out there that get too angry, too crazy these days. It's just not worth it. And that's what I love about the comedy. Getting back to the comedy.
Not to get into this, but I would agree that 20 years ago. The problem is if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And that's his position. And
but you're arguing with people a lot of times that
aren't going to win.
They're not listening to you. They're not trying to do what I do.
That's true.
They're not listening. Years ago, people would listen, they would argue, they would fight, and then the next day they'd be hugging and talking about something else.
Right.
So also the comedic aspect of this, bringing it around to comedy, is that you it's not the same as it was at one time. You know, like at one time, whoever it might be, like you know, somebody would get up, or Carlin, you name it. You know, even Sam
Kinison.
Sam Kinison, yes, thank you, Zoe. Sam Kinison will get up and he'll do. And today, the way the structure is in stand-up comedy and the way the business has become, if you walk 4 tables of people, the owner of that club
not happy.
It's not happy.
No, I can lose a job if the comic goes political and insults the one guy that's booking it. Everybody else
or even speaking of the devil, bad language.
Yeah.
You know, like in other words, if you put a comedian in.
We got to go. I'm sorry. We had a problem tonight, but we got to go. But always love having you on Laughter Saves Life show. You always do the job. You're a professional. You're a good man.
Thank you, guys. I love both of you guys. Thank you for having me on.
Tom DeGario, comic.
He's always great.
Yes. Next week we'll be back with more guests. That's all I can say. Yep. More guests.
And fun.
Have a nice night. Be safe out there. And Richie and I, we're going to the diner. Good night, everybody.